scared of in the next 30 years?
Yeah, we people are very lucky because we are in the area that the world is in a very big transformation because of the technology. I think we read a lot on the books that 200 years ago when the first industry have a lot of great people. So now the technology comes. This new technology will also create a lot of successful people, interesting careers. But honestly, every technological revolution is going to create a lot of social problems. And my view is the first technology revolution caused the First World War. Second technology revolution caused the Second World War. Now we're on the third. So what is going to happen? People worry about artificial intelligence. People worry about robots. People worry about a computer and data and privacy and securities. People start to worry. But whether you worry, it will come. You don't worry, it comes. So the thing is how you change yourself. So I think next 30 years, the world is going to be huge change. If there's a third world war, I think the world war should be a war against disease, a war against environment pollution, right? A war against poverty together. We should not a war against ourselves. But if we do not see clearly that using the new technology to solve this problem, if we do not unite, align together, human beings are going to fight each other. Because every technology revolution will make the world unbalanced. When something unbalanced coming, somebody used to be number one, suddenly become number two, and somebody was number three, and then become number one. It's all not comfortable. So we people, if you're 30 years old, my view is that when you are 20 to 30 years old, you should follow a good boss, join a good company to learn how to do things properly. When you're 30 to 40 years old, if you want to do something yourself, just do it. You still can't afford to lose, to fail. But when you're 40 to 50 years old, my suggestion is that you should do things that you are good at, right? And not do things that, oh, that's very interesting, I want to try something new. It's a bit dangerous more. When you're 50 to 60 years old, spending time training and developing young people, the next generation. When you're over 60 years old, better stay with your grandchildren. Law was considered, after liberation, was considered to be a bad guy. So I know how tough it was when I was a kid.
You tried to get into 3 colleges. Each time they rejected you.
No, I tried. There is an examination that young people, if you want to go to university, you have to take the examinations. So I failed 3 times.
Right.
But a lot of fail. I failed for funny things that I failed a key primary school test for 2 times. And I failed 3 times for the middle schools. And you will never believe in Hangzhou, my city, there's only 1 middle school that lasts only 1 year. It was changed from primary school, middle school, because our graduates of our school, no middle school accept us because we were too bad. They will become a middle school.
What effect did it have, though, being rejected?
Well, I think we have to get used to it. We're not that good. Even today, we still have a lot of people reject us. I think when I graduated from universities, and before I, for 3 years I tried to fill in the universities. So I applied jobs for 30 times, got rejected. I went for a police, they said, no, you're not good. I went to even the KFC. When KFC came to China, come to my city, 24 people went for the job. 23 people were accepted. I was the only one guy. And we went for police. 5 people, 4 of them accepted. I was the only guy that did not receive it. So to me, being turned down, rejected, Oh, by the way, I told you that I applied for Harvard for 10 times, rejected. I know I'll be rejected. I just don't want to say that.
Yeah, sorry now. 10 times you wrote them and said, I'd like to come to Harvard.
Yeah. And then I told myself someday I should go teach there, maybe.
I think that can be arranged. Richard Nixon came to Hangzhou.
Yeah.
And after that, tourists flooded the place.
Yeah.
And that's how you learned English.
Yeah. I really like I don't know why, at 12, 13 years old, that time I suddenly fell in love into the language, the English. And there's no place you can learn English at that time. There's no books, English books. So I went to the Hangzhou Hotel, now called Hangzhou Shangri-La Hotel, because that was the hotel can receive the foreign visitors. So every morning for 9 years, I showed them around as a free guide, and they taught me English. And I think that changed me. Today, I'm a 100% made in China. I've never got a one-day train outside China.
Yeah.
And when people talk to me, say, Jack, how can you speak English like that? Why sometimes you talk like an Western guys? I think that was the 9 years. These Western tourists opened my mind, because everything they told me are so different from the things I learned from the schools and from my parents. So now I have a habit. Whatever I see, whatever I read, I use my mind. Think about it for 2 minutes.
Is that how Ma Jun became Jack Ma?
Actually, Jack, the name was given by a lady in tennis. She's a tourist. She came here and she said, she came to Hangzhou. We become a pen friends. Ma Ring is so difficult to pronounce. So she said, do you have an English name? I said, don't. So can you give me an English name? She said, okay. She said, my father called it Jack. My husband called Jack. What do you think about Jack? I said, good. So I've been using that for that many years.
Yeah. First visit to America, 1995?
1995, yeah. I came here for a project helping the local government to building up a highway.
And you tried the internet.
I tried the internet in Seattle, and in a building called the U.S. Bank. I don't know whether the U.S. Bank is still there or not, but it's a building. And my friend opened a small office, which is like only 10% bigger than this room. And there are a lot of computers in there. And he said, Jack, this is internet. I asked, what is internet? He said, search whatever you want. At that time, they used Mosaic, very slow. Right? And I said, I don't use it. I don't want to type because computer is so expensive in China. If I destroy it, I cannot pay. He said, just to search it. So I searched the first word, beer. I don't know why, because it's easy to spell, baby. And I see beers from Germany, beers from USA, beers from Japan, but there's no beer from China. And I say, okay, type the second word is China. No data.
Nothing.
Nothing. And I said,
1995.
1995, no data about China. So I talked to my friend, why not make something about China? So we made a small, very ugly looking page called China. It's something like I did a translation agency, we listed on there. It was so shocking. We launched at 9:40 in the morning. 12:30, I got a phone call from my friend. He said, Jack, you got 5 emails. I said, what is email? And they say, these are the things. So people so excited. Where are you? This is the first time I see a Chinese website on that. How can we can we do something together? So I think this is something interesting. So we should do it.
Why did you call it Alibaba?
Alibaba? Well, when I started, I think internet is global. We should have a global name. And a name that, interesting, like at that time, the best name is Yahoo. Right, so I've been thinking for many days, suddenly think Alibaba is a good name. So I happened to be in San Francisco that day. I have a lunch, and the waitress came. I asked her, do you know about Alibaba? She said, yes. I said,
what is Alibaba? She said, Open Sesame. Good. So I went on the street, asked about 10, 20 people. They all know about Alibaba, 40 Thieves, and Open Sesame. And I think this is a good name. And start with A. Whatever you talk about, Alibaba is always top.
You have said before that in creating Alibaba, you had to create trust
Yep.
because people in China were used to face-to-face.
Yeah.
How did you create trust?
I think because we started about doing business on the internet, I don't know you, you don't know me. So how can you do things online unless you have trust? So for e-commerce, the most important thing was trust. I think when I first went to USA for raising money, talk to the venture capitalists, a lot of people say, oh, Jack, no. China doing business by the guanxi. How can you do business on internet? And I know that without the trust system, the credit system, it's impossible to do business. So in the past 14 years, everything we do is trying to build up the trust system, the record system. Well, Charlie, you know, I'm so proud today when I talk to the young. Today in China and in the world, people don't trust each other. The government and people and media and everybody think, this guy's cheating. But because of e-commerce, we finish 60 million transactions every day. People don't know each other. I don't know you, I send products to you. You don't know me, you wire the money to me. And I don't know you, I give a person a package, I don't know him. He took something to cross the ocean, cross the river, and send. This is the trust. We have at least 60 million trust happening every day.
But you created it by creating an escrow account in the beginning.
Yep.
You know, and so you keep the money until they got the product.
Yeah.
And then you release the money.
That's true. I mean, the escrow service is about Alipay. When I had, this idea, I would love Davos, because it was a big decision. Because for first 3 years, Alibaba is just like e-marketplaces for information. What do you have? What I have? We talk a lot of time, but don't do any business because there is no payment. I talk to the banks. No banks want to do it. Banks say, no, this thing never work. So I don't know what to do. Because if I start to launch a payment system, it's against the financial legal laws. Because you have to have a license. But if I don't do it, e-commerce will go nowhere. So then I went to Davos. I listened to a leadership discussion. Leadership is about responsibility. And after I listened to that panel, I give a call to my friends, my colleagues in my apartment, say, do it now, immediately. If something wrong, the government not happy about that, if one body has to go to the prison, Jack might go to the prison. Because it is so important for China, for the world, to build up the trust system. And if you did not do it, I said, and do not do it properly, stealing money, money wash, no trust record, I send you to the prison. So that was the thing. And people don't like it. So many people I talked to at that time for Alipay, they say, this is the stupidest idea you have ever got.